Stream live on Twitch at LordBrandon10.
Alright YouTube, welcome back. Today we are here, sadly, with another Destiny Rising video. So I kind of want to explain things, just where I've been and why the content has been slow to push out, and just kind of WTH is going on right now in Destiny Rising. I don't have a script. I do have some bullet points that I did write down here that I just want to kind of go over, and why I'm frustrated, and probably why the majority of the rest of the Rising community is frustrated, and just kind of really just take a stab at it. Like I said, I'm just going to kind of speak what's on my mind based off what I wrote down on these bullet points. I don't have a script, so bear with me if I get lost in the sauce here or any of that good stuff. So with that, let's start. I started off here with my topic number one, just being about the history of the game. And so essentially what I mean by that is Destiny as a whole has been, and I mean Destiny 1, Destiny 2, of course, Drising at launch and everything was always amazing. I end up stepping away from D2 during the, I believe it was the Rite of the Nine event, because that's when they dropped the closed beta and closed alpha for this game. And I came over like, well, let me try it out. It just might be one of those mobile games. It might not go far. It might shut down like Apex Legends Mobile. I started playing and I was like, wow, this thing's actually amazing. Like, the grind is here. The grind is here. The difference of like having different units that all do different things was like really amazing. Like, I remember picking up Cave and I'm like, oh my god, this dude's wielding the Volta Glass relic, and it actually has like an entire kit that was built around it. Now, granted, in today's day and age, Caber isn't viable in any form of content. He's just kind of there, but like nostalgic, just like him as a character was really amazing, just in terms of the story and gameplay wise and unit wise, he was amazing. And you know, I actually had plans, you know, because I was enjoying Rising so much. We had built an amazing community, you know, over on my Twitch and Discord, even here with the YouTube community, just with, you know, making videos from the past VODs that we've been doing on Twitch. We have built an amazing community, and the gameplay was nice, the grind was fun, the helps that I was doing were tough, and granted, I was only getting 3 hours of sleep every day because we were doing maybe 8 to 12 hour sessions a day with helps. But it was amazing. It was worth it, and the grind was there. And I was actually in the process of making why I quit D2 for D-Rising. I actually had that video in the works, and then, you know, I was really taking my time on it because I wanted it to be articulate, and I wanted it to be my thoughts on why I quit D2, not by what everyone else was saying or what the general media was saying. But then, you know, we started getting into some of where Destiny Rising is today, and that is why I never posted that video. Which brings us to my second topic that I want to discuss, which is Calamity. Calamity, as most of you know, has a lot of pros and cons to it. I would say there are definitely more cons than there are pros to it. For those of you who are just clicking on the video and know nothing about Destiny Rising, Calamity is kind of like one of the very few endgame, if not maybe the only endgame major thing or whatever that you're going to spend the most of your time in. Calamity is the only activity that drops the resource called incandescence clusters that are used to level your units. And the way they go about doing that is it's on a leaderboard. It's on a leaderboard system. So whenever you are in this thing called a promo zone, or if you get promoted, you get X number of incandescent clusters, and usually it's no more than like 2 to 5, depending on the rank that you're going into. It's really, you know, about maintaining your promo zones, and so you're competing with other people that's in your brackets or your zones, to make sure that you are in these promo zones, so that way you can earn the resources on the resets. Well, we get to a lot of the nitty-gritty issues that's really been haunting me with Calamity, and why I've just really been irritated with this portion of the game. For those of you who don't know, yes, I do. Calamity helps. as I advertise every time on every YouTube video that I post. I do master helps, expert helps, specialist helps. I was even doing operative helps at one point. And there was a point, I want to say 3 or 4 cycles ago, where we were on the pits, and I was rank like 49 or 48 or whatever it was. It was the rank right before you get kicked out, and we were trying to save some attempts, and so I had to back out of the run while the other guy completed it, and I actually kicked my own self out of promo zone just so that way he could get into promo zone or promoted or whatever the case was. So I actually got, I don't know if I was demoted or if I was unchanged or whatever it was, but I actually got hurt, impacted, because I was helping the community. And that's not more or less why I'm frustrated, but why I'm frustrated is because now I don't get the materials for the promo that I needed, these incandescent clusters. And so now we have a new cycle that comes along, and the new cycle that comes along requires an entirely different new kit of units. So instead of it being precision with Tan or a Ningfei with rapid fire, now we go to, let's say, like a spread or precision, you need Hellhest or whatever, and now I don't have the materials to level these units. So, fast forward a little bit, I'm trying to hurry up and get my Ningfei, because there was, I believe it was the Nexus, right? Nexus was the one Ningfei was really, really needed on. He was the one that could fly through the zones and all the different regions or whatever. And so I was scrambling to get my Ningfei leveled up. I didn't do it. Feel like I didn't need a Ningfei. I was anti-Ningfei or whatever the case was. Scrambling to get him leveled up. I got him leveled up to 72k. I did a video on the build that I made for him. It was a really, really destructive build. Got him to T4. And by the time I did that, it was reset. And now Ningfei is no longer needed for the Calamity. This is when season 2 dropped, and they still left it at the Nexus. And now it's Hellhest and Maru. So I'm like, okay, well, I've got to go rebuild a whole different unit for the same exact strike. Which is, the purpose of the game. I'm not complaining. This is gacha mechanics. Now, mind you, I've never played a gacha game before, so this is me trying to reacclimate with the mobile universe and, to get reaccustomed to everything. And, so I'm like, okay, I told everyone in my community, look, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get Maru leveled up. I did just that, got my Maru leveled up, and I went in to try to do some Calamity, and Lord and behold, guess what? We got this thing called barrages. And I'm sitting here thinking, you have got to be joking me. You're giving us the same exact strike, if not maybe way harder, because it's spread Shinkas now. You don't have the movement text that you had from Ningfei. And they're giving you these barrages, which are literally indestructible. You can't even shoot them down. They're indestructible, and they almost one-tap you. And on top of that, the score, which was literally in Master Overseer the week before, is now the requirement for Expert 1 and 2. And I'm sitting here like, how is this possible? Like, why is this a thing? And so people, not just myself, but people in the entire community are having a hard time hitting 390 in matchmaking because no one knows what they're doing, and no one has a Ningfei or a Yolder or a Hellhest to be able to fly through these encounters. And on top of that, when they are trying to, they are getting nuked by this barrage, which in my opinion, and in my opinion, like I said, this is just me, I may have a really hot take here, we don't need barrages in Calamity. When you have an activity where you are going for leaderboards, you don't need barrages in an activity that literally slows you down. Now, granted, yes, the pit did have the green orbs that would stop you if they hit you, but that is the key word. If they hit you, you had the ability to destroy the little green orbs, so you still had the option of flying through to get a really good placement as long as you had your multiplier at a high score, right? And so that is what really frustrates me about the whole Calamities, because now I'm sitting here trying to get resources and balance helping the community, but now it's like I can't even do that because now people don't have Hellhest. So now I'm like, okay, well, I've got to go build a Hellhest now because no one has that. And now I don't even have the materials to level my Hellhest because now I've got to wait another 2 weeks before the reset hits Calamity. Why in the world do we have 2-week resets is beyond me. You look at games like Arc Raiders, and the trial system that they have over there is literally a week. It's literally a week, and they do it so beautiful where you have a 2 times promo zone, meaning that if you're placed high enough, you actually get promoted twice if you're in promo zone. And then you have regular promo zone, which is where you get bumped up once, sort of like what the Destiny Rising system is. And then you have unchanged, and then you have demotion. But they do it every week. Why on earth are we waiting 2 weeks for materials is literally beyond me. But yes, I feel like I didn't cover everything with Calamity as I wanted to. Like I said, I don't have a script, so I'm just kind of speaking what's on my head right now. But this cycle, for those of you who know and are playing the game, this cycle is literally dog water, and it is so stupid. And it's to the point, and it is to the point I won't even make promo zone an expert. That's how bad we are right now. And I have an entire community of people. I could obviously call on people from my community, but that's not the point, you know. The point is that I made a vow and what I campaigned on for this community that I would be here from day one to interact and help everyone on the front lines. And I literally can't even do that because the game won't let me do that. And so that's kind of like the long story, you know, summed up in a little bit for Calamity and why I'm a little frustrated with that right now, because it's tied behind resources that you need to level your units. And it's just frustrating. We had a podcast on our first episode of the Lord's Cast podcast that we hosted here on the channel. One of the things that we suggested was that let's move incandescent clusters to things like shifting gates to populate some of the dead queues that we're getting even after a server merge, to prioritize that as a really, really good activity to give it some life, maybe as a non-pinnacle drop rate percentage at like a 0.1 or 1% or 0.3, 0.10, somewhere in that 1% spectrum, to give that activity some life. But you know, obviously there was nothing done with that. They did bring out, as of the recording of this video, Season 2, Act 2, or Act 1. They did bring out some new changes to shifting gates with 3 new bosses, for the 3 new primeval or whatever they're called, prime anomalies, for shifting gates, but there isn't really anything that's changed outside of that besides getting artifacts that they added to it. Which artifacts I wasn't having an issue getting before, but apparently they felt like the community was having a hard time getting artifacts over incandescent clusters or other valuable resources. So that's where we are right now with that. Now I want to go into my topic number 3, and I'll try to coast through these a lot faster. My topic number 3 being the events. Now this is where I'm really going to get frustrated. I want to kind of rewind the clock to kind of set the narrative for everyone. Let's rewind the clock to Season 1, Act 2, when Hellhest was introduced into the game. Now, Hellhest is by far probably the best unit in the entire game, and that's probably not even a debatable topic. Hellhest has the capabilities of doing almost 30 mil DPS, and I'm not exaggerating, that is literally a thing. Hellhest are doing 30 mil DPS within like 15 to 30 seconds. And when they introduced her, they introduced a little sub-event in correspondence to her, where it was you do draws for extra rewards in her little banner. Well, the experts in my community have reported that in order to max out that event, it would be $800 to do said event. Now, I don't really have much to say on tops of that event. I did not do that event because I was not going to spend $800 on a unit in particular, on one particular unit like that in particular. But I wasn't complaining about it at the same time. I wasn't complaining about it because I do realize that this is a gacha game, and I do realize this is a mobile game, and that's kind of like what they do over here, I guess. I don't know, but apparently that's what they do. So I didn't really complain. I know that's how they make their money. I just kind of did my thing. I got my Hellhest and I built it up the next season because that's when I had the time and the materials for it. Well, where I really have an issue at is in season 2, act 1, they introduced these things called gold bundles. So if you guys aren't familiar with that is, if you go to your store and go down to your bundles, it's called the gold medal bundles or something like that it's called. And each gold medal, it starts off at as your first one being $5.99 silver, and then everyone after that is essentially $4.99 silver. But here's the catch to it. The catch is that you have to have a gold on the units, to be able to buy these gold medals. You have to have a gold to change, to buy these gold medals. A gold acclaim is what I'm trying to say, excuse me. Your character, your unit has to be a gold acclaim maxed out. And then in this set bundle that you can buy for the silver, it comes with incandescence clusters, one of those. It comes with a master's key. It comes with some Lumia leaves, some black market tokens, some artifactual dust, and some exotic infusion cores, a whole list of things you get, right? The catch is that you only get to buy 6 of them. And that right there threw me over the edge. Let me tell you why it threw me over the edge. Because I bought all 6 of mine. I was getting ready to do my 7th one. Because for my Hellhest, I'm missing my level 5 weapon mastery. I'm like, well, instead of waiting the 2 weeks to get more clusters from Calamity, which is not going to happen because Calamity's god awful this week, I'll just go ahead and I'll buy the gold bundle for $4.99 for my 7th character. And the game tells you, nope, you can only do 6 characters. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, what do you mean I can only do 6? Didn't you just give us a whole $800 to $1,000 event to spend money on last season? But you're telling me I can't spend $50 on silver to buy these bundles that you're promoting for getting to your units to gold acclaim? But you were handing out these same clusters during an $800 to $1,000 event? Why is that a thing? It was at 7 out of 8 clusters. All I needed was 1. I could have easily got it by just buying another bundle, but they wouldn't let me because apparently there is a cap to only 6. Why is there a cap? I don't know. I can't tell you because it can't be for the clusters. I know for a fact it can't be for the clusters because they were handing out the clusters during the Hellhest event. So it can't be for the clusters. So I don't get it. So it's like they pick and choose when they want you to spend money and when they don't want you to spend money. So that right there was kind of like a knife to the heart because now I'm missing out on extra damage that the weapon mastery level 5 gives me for Hellhest to help better assist me in my runs for the community for Calamity, and I'm just not going to essentially have that. Now, that was kind of tied into my 4th topic that I wanted to go over as well. So we're going to kind of skip over 4, kind of merged 4 and 3 together. And we're going to go to 5, which is the progress takes way too long to build a unit in this game or just everything in general. I'll kind of sum this one up here to kind of keep the video from being an hour long, but Calamity, as I just told you guys earlier in the video, is the only way you get the clusters, besides these little off and on events that they do to give you clusters on the side, which has only been twice as of the recording of this video. And, outside of the clusters, you have things like artifacts that you have to grind for. I really don't have much to say on the artifacts. I think the artifact grind, I really don't mind it. Me and chat usually host these different gambling sessions for the Moth Mommy points on our Twitch channel. So I actually kind of don't mind the grinding. We set different challenges. Can I do 100 waves in 30 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever? So I actually usually have fun grinding the mines. I know that's weird to say because most people don't, but I actually don't mind it. I think it's relaxing. It's pretty chill. I don't mind it, but what I do mind is the building aspect of it, which is essentially the fruits. I don't know why on God's green earth we're not able to farm fruits. from chaos without pinnacle energy. Because in order to guild your little artifact thing, it requires so much fruit, and the fruit that you get from chaos is limited. It's not even guaranteed that you're going to get the ones that you need for the particular guild tier that you are on. So you can spend 360 pinnacle energy plus your reserves at 800 if you're buying them, and not even get the fruits that you need, or not even get enough of what you need to guild all of your stuff, resorting you to things like the exchange shop, to be able to go ahead and purchase those in exchange for those to help level those units. So on an average time, on a good average time, if you're just starting out fresh with no materials to your name, it will take you upwards of around 2 weeks to level a unit. Unless you were stacking from this season before or from the cycle before, then you're kind of already set for what drops or for what you're wanting to build. But there is definitely an emphasis on the time it takes to build a unit in this game, and it's literally like that in every activity you play. You don't get the exotic infusion cores unless you're doing legendary campaign, but those only drop from pinnacle. And so you're limited to an X amount of number of those a day. So everything is just essentially time gated. If you guys remember Destiny 2, we had the seasonal story that was time gated, but you could grind your heart out for whatever you wanted. But this here, everything is time gated. And so I want to kind of jump ship real quick, and I want to carry on this topic here. I want to skip number 6 for a second. Or actually, I want to go straight into number 6 and kind of tie my number 5 and number 6 into this thought here. And is that the reason why they're doing this is that there is a stigmatism on mobile players, where it is a game, and we talked about this in the Lord's Cats podcast. If you guys haven't seen that yet, go listen to it. It's a good conversation with other creators of the game. But we talked about the progression there, and essentially what we boil it down to is that it's a mobile game. And this was a mobile game built for mobile players, and it just happened to be ported to PC with the Mumu emulator. Well, here's my issue, and this is why I'm not going to buy into that BS. For the simple reason, there are people in my chat, and I'm going to give an example to this in a second, but there are people in my chat who play exclusively on mobile. Like, they won't even touch a PC for this game. And all of them spend 6 to 8 hours a day grinding on this game. And I want to tie an example into this. I give this example to my chat, and I don't mean this in any way, but in today's world, this is the truth in some people's households. But I gave the example where you may have a mother, father, and let's say a son. The mother and father are doing the best they can to make ends meet. Therefore, the son doesn't have a PC or doesn't have a next-gen console like a PlayStation or an Xbox. But what he does have is a tablet or a phone. And what he does have is a controller, maybe a beat-up controller, or just his hands to use touchscreen support. It's a Friday night. He has no football practice, no soccer practice, no detention after school. He's ready to come home. He's ready to game. You're telling me that, and I'm just explaining this from what the devs themselves had said. They built it for a mobile experience, for daily logons, and for an hour play session. You're telling me that a kid coming home from school on a Friday night who's ready to spend his weekend grinding, you're telling me that he was meant to do a reunion day event for 15 minutes and then log off and go to bed? A kid who doesn't have much and takes advantage of whatever he can play on? That's what we're building the game for? I'm serious. No, I mean, I'm being really serious. That's what we're building the game for? And so the stigmatism that this community, or quite frankly the devs, have placed on this game, I'm sorry, but it's BS. It's not true. When you say you're building something for a mobile community, there are people in the mobile community who grind their butts off like you wouldn't believe. Literally on touchscreen. 6 to 8 hours a day grinding this game to its full extent. you guys don't know, there's a streamer out there named Gentrix, only does mobile streams. He plays exclusively on touchscreen, sometimes with a controller. This man will sit there for 6 to 8 hours a day grinding Destiny on the iPad. So you can't tell me that this is built for mobile players, because when I look at a mobile player, I see a hard-wired gamer at the heart who grinds whatever game they play. And quite frankly, when I look at other games on the mobile market, mind you, I'm not a mobile gamer, but when I just go through my phone and I look at other games on the mobile market, and I see games like Warframe, and I see games like Duet Night Abyss, and I see games like Rainbow Six Siege, and I see games like Call of Duty, I see all of these games where you can literally grind from point A to point Z with no restrictions whatsoever, zero time gates whatsoever, regular updates to the games very often, great updates to the game very often, a healthy player base, tons of great communities from those games. And you're telling me that this was a game built for mobile? No, it wasn't. This was not a game built for mobile players. This was a game built for people who only play games when they want to play games. This was not a game built for gamers. And I know in the podcast we talked about this was a game built for mobile players, but when every mobile player I look at is a hardwired gamer, there is this stigmatism, and I don't get where it comes from. They are gamers. They log on and they play just like people on PC do, just like people on Xbox do and PlayStation do. They're no different because they play on mobile. So anywho, that's my rant there. And I feel like if we get rid of that mobile stigmatism, I feel like you up the game and you make it so much better than what it's been. If we get rid of that stigmatism and let the grind go loose. I don't know how you do that with the sandbox that we're in for Drising right now. I don't know if you get rid of Pinnacle Energy. I don't know if you add the coveted resources to all of the other different playlists and do it for non-Pinnacle to actually get people in these playlists and playing. I don't know how you do that. I'm not the dev. That's not my job to figure it out. But whatever they do, I hope they get it done. So that was my points 5 and 6. I want to go ahead and jump into number 7. This is more of a broader thought than more of what I've experienced myself. And this is that the server feels empty after the merge. This is coming in from someone in chat who provided this to us before we started this video. And for those of you who don't know, Destiny Rising just had recently a server merge. They merged Latin America with North America, and they merged EMEA with APAC. Those two were merged, so we have 2 servers now combined. The EMEA and their people with the APAC and Latin America and North America, those are all grouped together. And the server still feels empty. You know, there's you load into Iron Bar, you're still waiting 30 minutes. You load into let's say in my case, because when I get on to start playing around 8 p.m. to 10, I load in to try to match make Calamity, because I don't have people who will run with me, even though there's been people who have reached out. I just, I try to go in and just to load in to see if I can't burn a couple attempts to see if I get lucky with promo zone or whatever. And matchmaking is dead. Like I still, as of the time of this recording, I have yet to find a match made game for Calamity and Master 1 on Zone 2. And so I'm not too sure if the game is slowly dying. I'm not suggesting that it is, but I can definitely infer that we're definitely losing players, because when you merge servers, you definitely would see an improvement from where it was pre-merge, and this is exactly where we were sitting at pre-merge, is empty lobbies. Like I said, I'm not saying the game is dying, but I am definitely saying that we are losing players. And I'm giving my feedback and my frustrations as a player and a content creator for the game on why I am on the verge of not leaving, but getting frustrated on moving on to something else and treating it like the mobile game they want it to be. So with that, that was kind of my point 8 topic as well. And so that was kind of all of my thoughts and the frustrations that I'm feeling right now. my final closing arguments and my final closing thoughts to kind of wrap everything up. Destiny Rising is a great game. It has so much potential and so much untapped potential. It really does. So much untapped potential. It's got the IP, it has the players, it has the outreach, it has the platforms, it has everything it needs to be successful. When I first started streaming on the launch of this game, I campaigned on a commitment that I had left D2 because I wanted to be the people's champion of this game. And as of now, I don't know what else to do because I literally cannot progress because I have to wait 2 weeks to a month to do anything. By the time I get to that, I'm too behind. So Destiny Rising devs, if you are by any chance listening to this, I highly suggest you guys go look at the other guy, Polaris, and go listen to why he quit and why he moved on to Duet. And I highly suggest you hear me here. Please give us more communication. Please fix the resource accumulation, whether you're giving clusters and different activities, whether we shorten the Calamity cycle from 2 weeks to 1 week and see how that feels first, whether the resets are every couple of days. We got to do something, Rising. Please, we have to do something. I'm passionate about this game. I have built an entire army and an entire community of people who trust me with this game. And it would not do me any good if I sat here and I didn't speak on the issues that haunted this game. So please, if you're hearing me, please fix the game. And a little side note that I just thought of as I'm finishing up with my closing arguments here. You guys are hosting a event. It's an NDA event on the future of the seasonal content for Drising and what they're going to be fixing. But the kicker is one, it's NDA, and two, creators are not allowed. Why? Why on earth are creators not allowed to participate something that's already in the game? We're not talking about future content. We're just talking about a roadmap to better seasonal structure. So why is that? For one, why is that an NDA? If there is changes to make the game better, why are we on NDA for that? And two, why are creators not allowed to partake in the event? So what is stopping me from sending someone into your event and then they report it back to me and I don't classify who that person was, and then I release that information? What's the point of the NDA? You see what I'm saying? This isn't a marathon NDA type of thing. So with that, guys, that is my little rant. Tomorrow we'll resume our regular videos. We have two new weapon reviews that we're going to drop in the next couple of days. So please keep an eye on the YouTube channel. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on this video. As always, if you are looking for a Rising community that is still active amidst everything going on, check the pinned comments down below. We still have a great group of Rising players that still play and enjoy the game and do helps the best they can. So join in to our lovely community. Go check the description for my Twitch channel at LordBrandon10 and watch us live over there playing some Destiny Rising. With that being said, peace out, Girl Scouts, and we'll see you in the next Destiny Rising video.